Hey, what is going on, guys? It's D3 and I'm back with another video. Today I'm joined by Beginning Model 6. Why don't you go ahead and say what's up, bro?
Hey, so today I thought of a topic where it's basically why Saiyans couldn't become Super Saiyans when they lived on planet Vegeta and why they could on Earth. So my thought is that beforehand, when they lived on planet Vegeta, they were ruthless fighters who only cared about fighting and taking planets for their own profit. But now that they're on Earth, they're more in touch with their emotions and care more about the planet and people around them than just for their own personal gain. And when Goku went Super Saiyan, he was angry. He was angry because Krillin died. Then Vegeta angry because Goku was a Super Saiyan. And then, everyone was just angry or in touch with their emotions. And I really think that's, a key part in becoming Super Saiyan. What do you think?
Well, I think that, initially becoming a Super Saiyan is part of it. I mean, there was a whole thing where there was kind of a general consensus with Goku and the rest of the Z Warriors that, you had to be, pure-hearted to be able to do that. But they were kind of in shock when they saw that Vegeta was a Super Saiyan because they were like, well, I thought you had to be pure-hearted. And Vegeta was like, well, I am pure-hearted. I'm pure evil. So, I mean, yeah, I think that emotion does have a big factor, and it's very significant, especially early on in the series. Emotion is how Gohan unlocked Super Saiyan 2. It's how Goku unlocked Super Saiyan 1. I do think that that's a big factor. But also another factor is that if you look at the Saiyans as a race, back on planet Vegeta, they were considered a dominant warrior race, but if the reality is that they were not a very strong race. They just were not very strong people. Yeah. Goku and Nappa for one was an elite, and his power level was 8,000. He was an elite. Vegeta was considered a super elite, if you will, at 18,000. The Saiyans on Earth, reached levels that the Saiyans on planet Vegeta would have never even dreamed were possible. If you look at the Saiyans as a race, I think that the ones that were on Earth and that lived on Earth, they did have an emotional attachment to the planet and to the well-being of a lot of the people that were there, because they did form bonds, especially Goku's people, not necessarily Vegeta, but Trunks as well. But they, like I said, they just reached another level that the Saiyans back on planet Vegeta just quite frankly didn't even know was possible. I don't even know if those guys even trained. I just think that honestly those guys as a race, they were born with the power level, and as they got older and grew, their power level probably rose, my bad. But that was it. I don't think that they took it upon themselves to try to better themselves and train and nurture their power and find a way to get stronger. So I don't know necessarily. I think that it does have a lot to do with it, but at the same time, I don't know if they would have been able to achieve Super Saiyan, even if they did have strong emotional implications at that point. I don't know if they would have been able to achieve it, just because it's not only emotion, you have to still be at a certain level physically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you still got to be right at that door to where you're about to burst through, and then something sets you over the top, it sets you over the edge, to where you actually knock through that wall and achieve the Super Saiyan transformation, or whatever, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, whatever the case is. You still got to be there. So maybe I think that with the Saiyans, considering that, like I said, I don't think that they trained very much, I think it would be something along the lines of a rage boost, like Gohan would have gotten back when he was a kid. Just one of those little flashes where you get a rage boost if there was any sort of strong emotional implications. Because, the whole Saiyan thing, Planet Vegeta, it's we know about it, but we don't know enough about their habitat and what they did. We just know that they're ruthless, and you were right when you said that. So it sounds like maybe you think that if they were more in tune with their emotions, more maybe open to their emotions and lighthearted with their emotions, they would have been better off and maybe have achieved that form. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why it's only supposed to happen every 1,000 years, is because there's not very many Saiyans that are really in touch with their emotions.
But at the same time, emotion, when you talk about emotion, you have to talk about two different factors in emotion. There's emotions that are hey, I love you guys as my family, and there's rage. There's strong, heartfelt, heavy emotion And that's the type that you need.
Because you see, Goku, I feel like he wasn't quite at the level that he could go Super Saiyan yet. But then he got a Zenkai boost from his rage because Krillin died. So he was able to go Super Saiyan. But then, with Goten and Trunks, they were also training with Vegeta and Gohan, two of the strongest fighters in the universe. Well, up until we found out about gods, anyway.
Well, Trunks trained with Vegeta once, and Gohan trained with Goten once. He was, I don't believe it was even canon, and I don't even believe it was canon, but he was training with Chi-Chi one time. That instance where he went Super Saiyan, I don't even think that's canon. But that's the thing. These kids knew how to go Super Saiyan, and they didn't receive any formal training. They just were able to do it. That's the thing, and that's why I'm saying. That's why I said you can get into like a Super Saiyan gene theory, where the theory is their parents were able to go Super Saiyan at the time that they did it with their mothers, and that's why they can do it at such an early age. But they had no formal training. They had no emotions. There's really just literally, as far as those kids go, there's not really enough to back up anything. I mean, I guess other than the gene theory, because nothing else makes sense, because we didn't see enough of them. And like I said, that one instance where he actually did train was filler, but at the time that he actually trained, Goten actually trained with Gohan, he already was like, hey, I can go Super Saiyan. And he was like, Mom said don't do it though. And Gohan was just in shock. He's like, wait, what? You can do that at such an early age? It's just like, it got to the point where, like what Vegeta said, he was like, it's just a Super Saiyan bargain sale. It's like, it got to the point where it just got crazy. They were just handing out the transformation to everybody. It was unheard of for Gohan at such a young age to reach that level. But at the same time, Goku had him image training in the hyperbolic time chamber. He was like, hey, imagine Frieza killing me. Imagine killing Krillin. Imagine killing your family, everybody you love. He had him imagining horrible things to where he was able to achieve it. And it's like, you look at the Super Saiyan transformation, it really did come down to, early on, it did definitely come down to
just emotion.
And like I was saying, just heartfelt, like just deep emotion. Because I do think you have a good point when you talk about emotion, but you also have to talk about both types of emotion. Because just standard emotion, I mean, Saiyans were barbaric. They probably didn't even care about their own offsprings, to be honest. But if anybody was going to do it, it would have been Goku at that point. Because you said, hey, I don't think that Goku was at the point where he could go Super Saiyan. I think that Goku was almost as strong as he was going to get before he plateaued and actually went Super Saiyan. I don't think he could have got too much stronger, because like I said, these guys were hitting levels that were unheard of. Their power levels were unheard of. These guys were hitting levels that were just like, these guys were infinitely stronger. If you think about the fact that Goku and Vegeta, when they were on Earth, just like a year prior, they were so much weaker than they got. And I just think that that's so unheard of, that, these guys were hitting levels that were just, the Saiyans couldn't have even imagined. But I think that ultimately what it comes down to is the training being a big factor, and also something very, very strong emotionally, like you said. Just causing you to snap. I think that's what it is. And the regular Saiyans would have, I don't think they even trained. I don't think they ever would have really had the opportunity to experience that. So yeah, is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, not really. I think we kind of summed it all up, and we have what we wanted to say. So I think we're good.
Cool. Well, guys, be sure to check out Beginning Metal 6. His channel will be linked in the description down below. But yeah, that's it for us. Peace out, guys.
All right. That was cool.